Today I'm going to review Mazes and Minotaurs Creature Compendium. A book of creatures for Mazes and Minotaurs. Some of them are just weird stuff made up. The one thing that's different about Mazes and Minotaurs is there are no goblins, orcs, and etc. And that place is taken by the beastmen, like the acetons. There's deermen, boarmen, ratmen, lizardmen, things like that. Now this is like a variant of nymph. There's 8 men. Some of the monsters are just weird. It's not out of Greek myth, and it's not out of other role-playing games. It's just something weird. And this one, Atlantis is a place in the game world for this, and so there are Atlantean nobles who are all powerful sorcerers and Atlantean war slaves, and there's automatons and attack kill. It's like a whole page of different kinds of bears. There's the basilisk. There's the bearmen. I usually try to play the bearmen a lot like the clan from Clan of the Cave Bear. And the bee men. Let's get that focus because she's pretty. I once wrote an adventure that was rejected. The premise was an evil sorcerer had gained control of the queen of a group of bee men and was forcing them to do evil stuff. But it was rejected on the grounds that the bee men are good. Bird of Aries, there's a black stalker. There's like a whole page of different kinds of boars. And there's boarmen. Actually, come with that, there's 2 pages of boars. A bronze bird, bronze bull, bronze colossus, a lot of bronze monsters, bronze horse. The Book Centaur, it's got like the body of a bull. There's a whole bunch of bulls as opponents. And a Cacodemon, and this thing is called a Capricorn Horror. And Carapax. There's Carnivorous Cloud, there's a couple of pictures of those. This is Ketalopius, obviously taken from another game. And there's several different variations of centaurs. There's a centaurid, the Chironian centaur, the Sagittarian centaur, the Sartar, the Cerberus. That would be a unique monster. Here's the Owlmen, they're called Charnots. The Chimera is one of the toughest monsters in this game. The Cockatrice. There's a Crawling Aberration. And the Cyclops. There are 2 different variations of Cyclops. The gigantic Cyclops and the lesser Cyclops are like the people who work for Hephaestus. So here's the daughter of Ariadne. The degenerate men, they're like worse than barbarians. There's Daros, and here's a Daros attack craft. And you might recognize this creature from Star Trek. There's a bunch of different eagles, and elephants, and puzzas. Another creature from a different game. Formos. A bunch of different foxes and ghosts. and giants. And a bunch of giant animals. Giant bat, giant rat, giant scorpion, giant slug, giant snake, giant spider, gigantosaur. There's an interesting one, but this is the shadow of a god. And there's a Gorgon. Medusa is a member of the Gorgon family. She's a unique individual. Golden ram, griffin. This is called a nicogriff. This is called a grotesque. And there's hags and harpies. A couple of different harpy pictures. And hawkmen. And elephant. Several different horse pictures. Oh, here's a hippogriff. And several different variations of humans, so that you don't have to do much rolling to make an Amazon or a barbarian or a soldier. The soldier one I use a lot because people run spearmen, so I give them a couple of soldiers I can do a shield wall with. There's several different variations of Hydra. And Hyenakin, another beastman. And Icarian, another birdman. There's Iron Warriors. The Cur is this game's version of the succubus. And here's the Lamia. And Leonid, another beastman. And there's a bunch of different lions. And the lizardins. There's a lizardmen and the high. This is a Lycan, they're wolfmen, Lycocentaur, Manticore, Mechanical Archer. This is Megalopoidoi, Bigfoot. The mermaid. Okay, now we're at the Minotaur. I want to explain what these different things in the monster description mean. So it has a really good thing for creating monsters. There's a method to monster creation, and they all fit this. So, first of all, there's the taxonomy. All monsters have a taxonomy. Their animates are non-living things that move, like skeletons and automatons. Spirits are like ghosts. Folks are like the beastmen, or humans. Beasts are basically normal animals or big normal animals, and everything else is monster. And the hunters have an advantage against beasts and monsters. So if you have a player who's playing a hunter, he'll often ask, is this a monster? And so after taxonomy, they give a little description about what this is, and then size. There's this chart here, and so based on the size of it, it has a bunch of different categories about things that, descriptors of it. So this affects how many hit points it's got, what its bonus to hit is, how fast it moves, how much damage it does, how many hit points it's got. All this is categorized here and standardized. Now they have these qualities like ferocity. So the ferocity is rated from 1 to 3, and they give the scriptures. But if you look in the book, it only gives you the description. It says deadly. It doesn't tell you deadly is +3. It's hard for me to remember whether deadly is worse than dangerous or not as bad. It has a cunning. Cunning is rated from 1 to 3. here, see? And so the cunning rating, alert. Alert. Is alert better than clever or less than clever? I don't know. Alert is a +1, according to this. Now, mystique. So, mystique is how magical it is. And so here, the mystique of it is rated from 1 to 3. And so here it is. It's weird. Weird, is that worse than Eldritch or not? Weird is a +1. So it gives a movement rate for the monster, which is based, again, on this chart. And so based on this chart and some other things, you get an initiative. The initiative is always the same for both the characters and the monsters. There's a melee attack bonus, which again is based on the chart. Damage, defense class, these are all based on the chart. The number of hits points it's got. Detection and evasion rolls. Evasion is a saving throw. Detection is how easy it is for you to find it. Sometimes there's 2 numbers on that blank. Mystic Fortitude is your save against magic. And then it gets these special abilities. And so they're detailed here in the Maze Master's book. But some of these abilities just modify things like melee or Mystic Fortitude or defense class, like Tough Skin. That's automatic. It just goes into how much, gives you a better defense class, but you don't need to worry about it. But others of these, like Crushing Damage, affect combat. You need to know what this is. And so I wish that these were the ones that the DM has to worry about, the Maze Master has to worry about. I wish that these had either bold print or italics or something. Now, the monsters have a glory point and a wisdom point award. Some of them don't have any wisdom points. And the glory points are high enough that they're meant to be divided among several warriors, while each magician gets the full wisdom point award for this. And if there's more information you need to know, here it is, additional lore. Now, there's a bunch of Minotaur variants, like the Albinotaur, the Bronze Minotaur, the Dancing Minotaur, the Golden Minotaur, which in an issue of the Minotaur is a race that can be a player character race. The Gorgator, the Impostor, the Megator, the Psychotor, the Red Minotaur, the Silver Minotaur, the Twinator, here's another Twinator, the Minotaur. So yeah, there's a bunch of Minotaurs in this game, and there's even more in the pages of the Minotaur. There are Morlocks. There's a surprising number of Underdark creatures here in this game. These are the Obsidians. They're an Underdark creature. There's the Ono Centaur. The Oracle Owl is like in the Mechanical Owl in Clash of the Titans. The Orkoi. That's orcs, basically. I said there were no orcs, but yes, there are. There's Pegasus and Pegatar and Periton. Though the picture doesn't really show that it has a human shadow. And Phoenix. There's like a whole page of different rams. And the Ratlings. Rhinoceros. Rhinotaur. There's Rock. And Salamanders. There's the Rock Python. This is like the rock monster from Galaxy Quest, only it's snake-shaped. And every time I run one of these, I run them with players who've never seen Galaxy Quest. What's wrong with people? There's a bunch of different satyrs, including the Caliban satyr, like in Clash of the Titans. And the demi-satyrs, a bunch of satyrs. There's scorpion folk. And there's some aquatic creatures. This is the 7-mod thing. There's sea serpents. The obsidians are an Underdark race that came from the moon. They're criminals from the moon. And the one time I ran these, I was running on Roll20, so I looked for an icon for it. And when I looked for Moon Men, I found the guy, Mac the Knife, from the 80s McDonald's commercials. Which, I found that, so somebody must have posted that for some reason. I wish I knew the story behind why that was posted on there. But there's the Serpent Men, Shadow, the Silent Lurker, Silver Beetle, there's a Siren, and Skeleton, the Sons of Dagon, there's a bunch of different stags. Stychios is one of the monsters that gives the most wisdom points for defeating it. The Stone Titan, Stygian Hound. Yeah, so the Stygian Empire is one of the places in the game world, and it's a place that's ruled by necromancers. And like the Atlanteans, they have magical powers. Almost all the monsters who have magical powers, the magic they have is sorcerer power. So the Sylvans are basically elves. There's the Swamp Horror, the Tarrasque, the Tiger Man. There's the Titanic statue. A tragic floating head. The Trogos are goatmen. There's the troglodytes. And Trollith is like trolls. There's a bunch of different unicorns. The nymphs have the ability to make wood titans, so that's what they look like. Wild men are people who are wilder than barbarians. That's a Zorba. Now, the pages of the Minotaur has several monsters each issue. And the very first issue, it was aquatic monsters, and this is probably the supplement that I most turned to as far as using other monsters. But the other others, there was like dogs, and here's some variations of ones that are already in the book. And there's some dragons, and there was an issue on Egypt, so there's a bunch of desert monsters. And there was one on the barbarians, so here's a bunch of monsters from the land of the barbarians. So for Celtic monsters, there's some more Minotaurs, in case you don't have enough. There's some elementals. This is modifications of existing monsters. There was an issue on Charybdis, which is like sub-Saharan Africa with dinosaurs. So here's a bunch of sub-Saharan monsters. This page won't turn. Yeah, so some sub-Saharan monsters here. And then there was a supplement called Vikings of Valkyries, which had its own monsters. So here some of them are. And one of the pages the Minotaur had is guide to the monsters based on terrain, and it tells you what page they're on. So this was really helpful, so I included this in my book. So there you have it. Mazes and Minotaurs Creature Compendium.